Hi guys, welcome to Flowing with Sid. Our practice today is inspired by those times, those moods where you really don't feel like doing anything. Even in those times, a yoga practice can be so beneficial, if not more beneficial than when you're feeling 100%. So for our practice today, we will need a prop. I'm using a yoga bolster, which is just a fancy name for a pillow. So if you have any kind of pillow, this could be a pillow off of your bed, it could be a cushion from your couch. You could even use a folded up blanket or towel. We just want something that has a little bit of density to it. So if you have a thinner pillow, maybe think about grabbing two and just having those at your side. We're going to use that throughout our practice. So unroll your mat and get ready to flow. So to begin our practice today, we're going to get started in our child's pose. So enter our child's pose. We want our prop in front of us. So whatever prop you're using today, whether you have a yoga bolster, that pillow, blanket, whatever it is, we want it in front of us lengthwise. So going up the length of the mat. And then from here, we're going to open up our knees outside of that prop. And then using your exhale, we just want to release the upper body over that prop. So we're allowing the arms to extend forward. You can either allow your forehead to rest down to the center of that prop here, or it might feel comfortable to turn your head from one side to the other to find a gentle stretch for the neck. And settling into this space. Allow your hips to soften as they sink down. Feeling the full length in the spine. Releasing the upper body so the shoulders soften. Maybe feel heavy here. Allow your heart to sink down to the earth beneath you. Maybe connecting with that gentle beat. Heart beating in the chest, maybe vibrating against whatever prop you're using today. Everything beginning to soften here. Giving yourself the luxury of time. Allowing your awareness to slowly arrive to this space here. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. And then when you feel ready, on an inhale, we'll start to walk our hands in, pressing them into the earth just to slowly lift the body up. And we'll pause for a moment here, seated on our heels in our rock pose. So if you had more support, you could bring it beneath the heels here. If this does not feel comfortable, you can bring your seat off the side of the feet down to the mat. We'll just be here for 2 breaths. Just acknowledging that transition, lifting from that child's pose. Perfect, guys. And then we can move that prop just slightly out of our way. We're going to make our way onto our seat, coming into our easy seated pose. So allowing the legs to cross, rooting down through the sit bones, reaching up tall through the crown of the head. Again, giving yourself that time. We want to think about practice today that's really slow, that's really mindful. Just enjoying each breath, each movement. And then to slowly start to encourage some space here in the body. We're just going to take our next inhale, reaching our arms overhead. And as you exhale, elbows will bend. We'll draw the hands through heart center. 2 more times, nice and slow. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Keeping the hands at heart center. On our next exhale, we just want to melt our right ear towards our right shoulder. And you can keep the hands at heart center, but if you want just a little bit more sensation here, you might like to bring the right fingertips towards that side of the head, guiding you deeper into this stretch. Be mindful if you're using the hands here, we're not pulling the head, just allowing the weight of the hand to gently draw you deeper into that stretch. Feeling space through that left side of the neck, down the shoulder. And bringing the hands back to heart center. If you took that variation on your next inhale, we slowly lift the head back through neutral. Find your exhale. Good. Taking an inhale here to lengthen through the crown of the head. And then again, exhale, left ear melts towards the left shoulder. That first option again, hands can stay at the heart, but you might like this time bringing the left fingertips towards the side of the head. Good, feeling that length this time through the right side. And then if you took that variation with the hands, we'll bring them back to heart center. Take your next inhale, slowly lift the head through the center. We take a full cycle of breath here. Perfect. And then from here, we're going to set up our staff pose. So we'll bring our hands back behind our hips. We're going to uncross our legs. On our way there, we're going to bring the feet towards the edges of the mat so we can take time to windshield wiper those knees side to side. So just opening up through the hips here, massaging your glutes. Windshield wiper the knees. And then we extend the legs to find our staff pose. Staff pose, we create this L shape in the body. So we stack the shoulders over the hips, legs become long. We're gonna grab our prop again. So whatever prop that we're using today, once again, we're gonna put it lengthwise down the legs. So we want it starting at the belly and hips, extending down the length of the legs. We're preparing for our seated forward fold here. So we're going to take our inhale, reaching our arms overhead. And as you exhale, we hinge from the hips. We want to fold forward over this prop. So we're feeling some support through the chest, through the upper body, and feeling like you have something to kind of fold and lay over. If you use your prop in this forward fold and you feel like you have a lot of space between you and the prop, you can add on maybe a second pillow, adding a block on top of your prop. Really want to think about making yourself comfortable in this shape, so whatever that is for you. And we're going to take some time allowing yourself to kind of melt into this fold. You might notice some things feel good, maybe some things need to be adjusted. For instance, the head, Sometimes it feels comfortable just allow the forehead to kind of hang forward, maybe allowing the back of the neck to stretch. But if you know you don't like that sensation, you could also bring some support there, maybe a block or stacking the fists to give yourself support that way. In these longer holds, giving yourself an opportunity to notice those adjustments. So sometimes the longer that we hold a pose in our yoga practice, the more it might reveal to us. So maybe sometimes that means more depth in a shape. Maybe sometimes that means we start to find our edge, that space between boredom and stress, where you're feeling work, but you're not pushing yourself past that threshold towards pain. So sometimes it's that fine line. It's building that mind-body awareness to see where is the place you want to land in your posture. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then bringing the hands back to the prop. If they moved away, we'll take our inhale, walking our hands in, lifting our body up. Good. We'll bring the hands back behind the hips, fingertips pointing forward, taking an inhale just to open up the heart space, maybe shifting your gaze towards the sky. And then exhale, coming back to that neutral spine. Good. We're going to move our prop off to our side. And then we're going to line up our toes with the front edge of the mat, allowing our knees to bend. We slowly are going to make our way onto our back. So once you've made your way down to the mat, we're going to bring this prop back into our practice. So having it close by at your side, we're going to set up a supported bridge pose. So we want to bend our knees, bringing your feet flat to the mat. And then on an exhale, we'll press through the soles of the feet, lifting the hips. This is right where we want to bring that prop. So that towel or that bolster, maybe a pillow, is going to rest right underneath the hips. And then once you feel that support beneath the hips, you can allow them to sink down. So I still have got that bend in my knees. My hips are elevated, but they're supported by that prop that you have at your side. Arms maybe rest at your sides, or maybe you bring the hands to the belly. Good, feeling that gentle lift here through the hips. The shoulders melt down to the earth. You definitely want to be feeling that support beneath your hips here. So if you have just a single pillow, maybe think about stacking a pillow on top of it or adding something else, a blanket or towel, to give you the height that you need to really feel that release here. We're going to take 3 more breaths. You can stay right here with your knees bent, feet flat. If you want to explore another sensation from this supported bridge pose, you may like to try extending the legs long, so allowing the hips to be the highest point of the body. If you do that and you don't like that sensation, that's okay. Bend the knees, bring them back into that original starting posture. And taking your final breath here. Perfect. If you took that variation, extending the legs long, we bend the knees, walking the feet back in. Our next posture, we're going to continue to add on to this inversion shape by extending our legs towards the sky. So coming into a kind of supported legs up the wall posture. So our legs extend long, our hips are lifting because of that prop beneath us. We're just going to take 3 breaths here. And you might like to point or flex the feet, maybe circle the ankles. And we have that firm foundation by drawing the shoulders down towards the earth. Again, hands rest at your sides or maybe at your belly. Taking that time to enjoy the benefits of your inversion practice, including improved immunity and circulation, improved balance and core strength, just allowing everything to melt away, everything to soften here. And then on your next exhale, the knees will bend, feet will lower flat to the mat. From here, we're going to press through the soles of the feet, lifting the hips so we can scoot that prop out to one side of the mat. Hips will lower back down to the earth. Giving yourself time. And we want to do a counter stretch here. So we were just lifting the hips. We want to round through the spine. On your next exhale, we'll hug the knees into the chest. And then if it feels okay for you, round through the spine, draw the forehead towards the knees. So make yourself into a little ball. Good. And then on an exhale, you can relax the head and shoulders. Knees are still bending. We'll rock side to side here to massage the lower back. And then finding some stillness. We're going to take that prop again, setting up our next posture. We're moving into our spinal twist. So we want to bring that prop between the knees. So we're going to tabletop the legs, so stacking the knees over the hips, that pillow or bolster between the knees, and then open your arms out to your side, so either in a T shape or cactus shape. On your next exhale, we'll take the stack of knees and that prop between over towards the right side of the mat. Options here, you can use your right hand to rest on the prop, just kind of guiding it down towards the earth. Or you can keep that arm long, whatever feels best for you. Gazing overhead, or maybe towards the left for that full spinal twist. I think the key to these kind of quick, refreshing practices is moving really simply. Moving in ways that feel good and moving at a pace that gives you time to notice each shape. It's a nice counterbalance oftentimes to our lives. A lot of times we're go, 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 moving from one task to the next. You might even find that in your yoga practice as well, if you're used to that flow style. We go one breath, one movement, one posture to the other. So sometimes taking this time to slow down just feels so good. Just feels like a little reward for your body, for your mind. So it's important to take that time to enjoy these types of practices. We'll take one more cycle of breath here. And And on our next inhale, we want to use our strong core. We'll guide those knees back towards the center, maybe resetting your prop if you need to, scooting your hips back to the center of your mat. Arms open to your sides. On an exhale, the knees lower towards the left side of the mat, second spinal twist. One more breath here. And then using your next inhale, we guide the knees back through the center of the mat. Again, we'll take that prop, move it to our side. And we're going to prepare for our final few postures. So to enter our Shavasana, or our final resting pose today, we're going to first move on to our side. Gently press yourself up so that way we can set up our prop. Just like we had it at the beginning for our child's pose, we're going to have it lengthwise but extending from our hips towards the back edge of the mat. So same thing, we want to line it up starting at our hips and our low back, lengthwise down the edge of the mat, and then we'll slowly recline over it. So that's why having the shape is really important. Not just supports our body in that child's pose and fold, but it really allows you to kind of melt over it. So those shoulders are melting over the sides of your prop. The head is feeling supported, allowing those palms just to open up here. And starting to soften your jaw. Allow your legs to feel heavy here. Noticing how the glutes sink down to the earth as the hips softly release. The full length of your spine, feeling the support of that prop beneath you. And with every exhale, the shoulders melt down as heart space softly opens. Allow your cheeks and eyelids to feel heavy. And finally, allow your forehead to soften. You might like to take the remainder of this posture just as you are with legs long. But if you want to encourage some openness through the hips, you might like to take our butterfly variation. And you can do that by bending the knees, connecting the soles of the feet, allowing the knees to open up towards the edges of the mat. If you had props here like blocks, they could rest beneath the knees, or you can just allow them to softly open here. And taking that time just to notice each breath. Breathing in slow belly fills. And exhaling fully, allowing everything to feel heavy. Noticing each inhale As you draw it in, brings a sensation of lightness to the body. And with each exhale, you feel new softness, new heaviness. And just enjoying those feelings. Heavy and light. Heavy and light. Heavy and light. I hope you take absolutely as much time as you'd like in this posture. Whenever you feel ready, slowly bringing some awareness back to the body and coming back into your day. Thanks for practicing with me today.